Hi, I'm Christine Connor with Amelie Designs. Today we're going to be doing a mug rug. We're going to do the owl from the Backyard Buddies. So right here we're going to stitch it out together. On the Backyard Buddies, here's the fox. Here's the raccoon. I don't know where the owl is. I don't know where the bunny is. I suspect they're in a quilt store somewhere. I also have a winter set with a snowflake and a snowman and a hot cocoa mug and something else. And then there's a spring set. Each of these sets have 4 different designs. So the spring one has a boot and a little birdhouse and a watering can and a flower. And then of course for you Irish, there's the Irish one. Here's a sheep and there's a dolman. There's a harp and of course a Guinness. Wouldn't be an Irish one without a Guinness, right? So the first thing you want to do is print off your instructions for the owl. For the owl alone, there's 15 pages. I think there was 15? Yeah, 15 pages of full color instructions. So you'll need to print that out or bring your computer if you have a laptop over and just follow the instructions. They're step-by-step guides on how to do that. Fabric supplies are on the very back of the pattern. You'll want to check at the bottom of your pattern to make sure it says revised. If it does not say revised, there's going to be 2 more little scraps that you're going to need, and I'll talk about those in a minute coming up. Alright, so let's go over and sew. Okay, I told you were going to need a little extra fabric, not much, they're just scraps. So the body of the owl, when it stitches out, you'll need another scrap for the eyeball, so another 3" by 4", same color as the body. Or you can go with a brighter white if you want. So that's 3" by 4". And then you will also need, after the owl stitches out, you're going to need to stitch out the crown of his head. So I would say about 2.5 by 4". Same material as you did for the owl body. So that's 3" by 4" for the eyes. And for the crown of the head, you'll need 2.5 by 4". You do not have to worry about that if your pattern after today will say revised, and it will have the date. Today's date is July 15th, 2014. Okay, this is step 1. The first thing you're going to do is hoop some neutral thread. I use yellow because I want you to see it. You're going to hoop no show mesh stabilizer in your hoop. You're going to press, once you load your hoop in, you're going to press button, and it's going to stitch a basting line. Okay, after it stitches the basting line down, you're going to take your piece of batting that you cut. Piece of batting is, and this is now step 2, or actually we're in between 1 and 2. We're going to take a 5.5 by 8" piece of batting and lay it down inside those lines. Very simple. And then you're going to grab your tail, start your machine again. And you don't have to cut it, just keep going. Just make sure that batting doesn't shift. Kind of hold it in front, hold it over here, hold it in the back. And there. By the way, on all 4 of the Backyard Buddies and the spring mug rugs and what's the other one I designed? The Irish ones. All 3 of them, the strips are all done the same way. All right. Okay, so you're gonna hit the button again. Yeah. Alright, and let's see if you can get in here and see this really well. You can see again I have placement lines. Let me show you what I've done too over here. I have laid out my strips, okay? So I have the 3 that are 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. And are they 3.5 inches? I think they're 3.5 inches. Yes, they are 3.5 inches. So I have the 3 that are 1.5 in the middle, and then the ones on the ends are going to be just a little bit wider because, you know, I want to make sure that we have extra room. Alright, so I'm going to take the purple one. That's the first one. And I'm going to pop it right here in that placement line, like that. Then I'm going to take the one that was next to it on the right hand side, and I'm going to put it down wrong side facing up, or the 2 right sides are together, and I'm going to make a seam. So I'm going to hold it right here. I'm going to hit the start button. Remember, if anything ever flips over or doesn't do what you want it to do, you can always hit the start button again, and it will usually stop your machine. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the yellow one over like such, and you see I've just made this little seam line. Now I'm on the right hand side. I'm going to take my strip that I have for the right, the other yellow, and I'm going to lay it right sides together like such. I'm going to hit the go button. It's going to stop so I can cut the thread. I'm just going to hit the button again. I can cut it later. And you can see right now it really did not matter what color thread I had in. You know, I probably didn't want to have black since I had light colors, but just some type of neutral thread. I'm going to flip that over, and again I have another seam. Now I'm at the edge. I'm going to have my 2 oranges at the edge. I'm going to take my orange piece, right sides together or the wrong side facing up. I'm going to hit the button. I usually like to do these in batiks because they're so pretty, but for this video I wanted you to see wrong side of fabric, right side of fabric. Really easy. And I can't do that with batik since there isn't a right or a wrong. Okay, I'm going to flip that over. You see how that extends past? I want that. I want a little extra on the edge. Okay, I'm going to take the last strip. I'm going to place it over here. Wrong sides together. Hit the start button. Hit it again. Now you may notice on your machine that it's telling you to change to all these different colors. You notice I haven't changed the color of thread at all. I have to, when I digitize, I have to have the color changing because that's the only way I can get your sewing machine to stop. Alright, so my background is going to be blue. And I have a 5.5 by 5.5 inch square. Did we tell you to do that? I think we did. We said 5.5 by 6 inch. So it's 5.5 inches across here. Oh, mine's big enough. I'm going to just test this real quick. Yeah. And you're just going to line it up with your batting on either side. And you want the, oops. We want the wrong side facing up, so we want right sides again together because we're making a seam. You know, fingernails are a wonderful thing. They just scooch everything right up where you need it to be. Okay, I'm going to hit go. And it's going to make the seam across here. Hit it again. Voila, I'm going to cut this piece. Now before I hit the button again, I'm going to flip this piece over to the back. So there is my background. Voila. So now I've got my stripes, I got my background. Now to hold all this in place, I've got a basting stitch, or not a basting stitch, I have another stitch that's going to stitch around the perimeter of this whole section here just to hold everything in place. It's going to start up here, it's going to go down, and around and back up. So I'm going to hold it here, I'm going to pull it up, hold it here in the corner. I'm going to move my hand. You don't have to worry so much about holding it here on the strips. And hold it back here. When I say hold, I'm not preventing the machine from moving. I'm just kind of holding the fabric so it doesn't go flying around. Alright, so there we have our background. We've got our strips on the side. We have our background. Now, alright, so you can see here we're on step 18 already. We want to change our thread to brown, and it's going to stitch. We're going to start, after we change our thread to brown, we're going to start the machine, and it's going to stitch the branches for the owl to sit on.